Yeah, continuing with the article that we started in the last book club meeting, maybe 2 months ago. It's the article is The Secret of Success. So this is the second part of that.
Sure. Okay. Yes, I'll just read this first slide. Thrust into this world. Nobody asked us whether we would like to be born. We were thrust into this world without our permission or any consultation. But once here, we look around, examine the things around us, and deal with them in the best way possible. I will not allow the environment to take charge of me. I will decide what I think, see, and speak. I can have that self-control. Otherwise, I'll be no better than an animal. An animal is a victim to the forces around it. We fight with the environment. Animals never complain. We complain about everything under the sun. But this complaining attitude in us, instead of pushing us into a corner to sit there and cry, should make us lift our heads, look around, look at the cards dealt us, and play the game of life in the best way possible. We should come out successful, if not the best, at least a good player.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says that we are pushed into this world helplessly. He is talking about how we don't have any choice. Our past deeds, our past impressions decide what sort of life we will be having. So we are pushed into the world. We don't have any choice about the circumstances, our parents, the society, family. No, we don't have any choice. We are just pushed helplessly. That's why here Maharaj is saying, nobody asked us whether we would like to be born or we would like to have this set of parents. Nobody asked us. We don't have any choice. Now, once we come into the world, we have got so much of choice now, especially now. But to be at the time of birth, there's no choice. We are just forced to come. But once we can make changes to our life with our actions, with our thoughts, our words, our deeds. We can decide how we want to live. The choice it is us. But so that here we must, once here we can look around, examine the things around us and deal with them in the best way possible. We have got the choice. We can, coming to the world, we didn't have a choice. But once we are here, how we live the life, it's up to us. We can lead a very lazy life or active life or go along the path leading to the higher way. It's up to us. With the choices we have got the choice. If you don't do that, if you don't make use of the opportunities that we have and just float through the life, then we are no better than an animal. Just the nature asking us to do, we just follow what the nature is asking us to do without making any effort to stand on your feet. That's not the right. That we are human beings. We have to live like human beings. And Shankaracharya says, it is through God's grace that we have got a human birth. A very rare thing. And having got this rare human birth, if you don't make use of it, it is spiritual suicide. That's what Shankaracharya says. If you don't make use of the opportunities that you are given in this life as a human being, then we are committing suicide. Not physical suicide, spiritual suicide. So instead of complaining, let us Face the situation, face the brute. But the nature will be giving us a lot of problems. It will be giving us blows left and right, but we can go forward and meet them. As Swami Vivekananda says, face the brute. And if we go and meet the problem halfway, then problem won't be too much. But if we wait for the problem to come to us, it becomes bigger. Just as we can pull out a plant when it is small, but when it grows into a big tree, then you have to get a tree loper and spend a lot of money, go to the council, get permission, lot of things involved. Small one, nobody knows, you just pull it out. So the problem when they are small, we can pull it out. But if we postpone it and the problem, wait for the problem to come to, then I will deal with it, becomes too big. Then we sit and complain. But if we go forward, then we are successful. So he says, she says, we should come out successful, if not the best, at least a good player. That is referring to the last time we did how the cards, in the game of cards are set by somebody else. We don't have any choice. Even dealing the card is at random. But at the same time, a good player can, even with bad set of cards, a good player can play well. So how we play, it's up to us.
Yeah, so this has reminded me of what we've touched on many times before, that a very simple thing, simply having gratitude, that we, especially nowadays, when we've got so many facilities, with all the technology, with all the comforts, we've got this rising expectation about life. And then we lose sight of all the simple things in our life that have a lot of value. And even we don't see the beauty around us. There's always beauty out in the external world. And the facilities we have, we take them for granted. So it's reminding me of that, this complaining attitude when, well, like I was mentioning before, when I did this meditation course, and their teacher asked us to focus on what we're grateful for in our life. And each night you've got to write down a few points, things that you're grateful for. And it was a very simple exercise, but boy, it became powerful because you're actively looking around to see what's good in your life. And any negative things popping up, you'd say, keep away, I'm too busy, I'm trying to focus on the good things. I need to have some good things to write down tonight. And I'm surprised how quickly you can get into the habit of making a point to see the good things. And there's so many.
There are a lot of good
that you
things.
don't normally see because it's like they're part of the scenery. But
we just take it for granted, all the good things that we have got. If you compare with other people, other societies, other nations, then we realize how fortunate we have, how many blessings we have got.
Any questions, comments?
And again, here she says, we fight with the environment. We fight with the environment, and life is full of fight. Not with external other people. Don't have to fight, but it's a fight with our own, with the nature and our external nature, internal nature. Once Swami Vivekananda asked, what is life? And he said, life is the unfoldment and development of a being under circumstances tending to press it down. Circumstances always try to press the being down. And fighting against that is life. If you don't fight, you are no better than dead. That body don't just lay there. If you don't fight, then you are dead. Life shows, even if it is a small insect, that you try to pick up an ant, it will bite you. It's trying to show its life. It's trying to resist you. Every being, living being, try to protect itself, fight against those who are trying to harm them. So we have to fight against the environment and make use of it best way, instead of sitting and complaining, oh, this is happening to me. Well, that has happened, but you have got the choice to go forward, make the best of whatever is there. It is not the often we think that if we got all the best things, only then we can progress. No, we don't have to all these things. Even the little things we can make use of and go forward. So it's all up to us how we use it.
Well, I remember reading long ago a kind of a subversive type of story where a man dies and he's sure he's in heaven because everything is wonderful, everybody all full of smiling, friendly, happy people, no problems, everything going smoothly, day in, day out. After a while, he began to feel bored.
Yeah.
Then it became very bland. Then it became kind of torturous. He couldn't stand how good everything was. So then he asked one of the angels, what's going on? Why am I feeling like this? The angel said, oh, don't you realize you're actually in hell?
Actually reminds me of an old Dave Allen joke where one of the people down in hell meets one of the people up in heaven and says, so what's it like up in heaven? He said, oh, look, it's pretty busy up here. We sort of, sort of every morning you've got to put the stars away and pull the moon in and then put the sun out and then, turn on the wind machine and then you sort of, move the clouds across the sky. And then at the end of the day, you've got to put it all away and put the stars out and said, well, how come you're so flat out? He says, well, it's only two of us up here.
By the way, those on joining us by Zoom, if you would like to make a comment or ask a question, we can include you. Any other questions, comments?
Mataji, this the notion of birth, when we contemplate it, that moment of like helplessness, when we think of the cards that we're dealt, how it is completely out of our control. The parents that we have, the environment that we have, we can often feel like a victim or feel entitled or privileged. These notions can go either way. And often we can take that out on the people in our life and enact it. So what's the best way to kind of overcome those attitudes?
We consciously we must make an effort to look at the bright side. We can say the cup is half empty or cup is half full. That is not going to make any change to the amount of liquid in the cup. It's how we look at it. We can look at it in that if you, by nature you are pessimistic, always looking at the negative side, but you make an effort when you realize that is causing trouble to your life, then why do you go that way? You make an effort to look at the other side. Consciously make an effort. Every time the negative feeling comes, you should remember, no, this is not good for me. I'm going down the downward spiral. No, I should get out of it. Use your willpower. We have got that power. We can do that. And use it and go forward. Something has happened in the childhood, holding on to that. Oh, I got that trauma. That is giving me migraine. That's giving me this one. I can't do anything. I can't get up. I can't do work. I'm depressed. go to the psychiatrist. Psychiatrist gives you medicine, and then that increases the problem. One psychiatrist was telling me she's in charge of a hospital in Newcastle, 130 beds or something. Many of them are young people. Why are they so much depressed? I feel that a lot of it is because they're completely self-centered, thinking about only their own self. Oh, I didn't get this one, I didn't get that, or this happened to me long ago. Long ago, it is long ago. Why do you hold on to that? Why don't you go forward? You can go forward. It's up to us. No, holding on to that. I am the victim. All self-pity, self-centeredness. Look at other people, and how much are the other people are suffering? No. If you turn the attention away from your own self to other people, then you won't have so much of self-pity. You'll be able to progress in life. You can be successful. Instead of holding on to your, oh, I'm traumatized. So-and-so said this to me. So-and-so did that to me. This word, this traumatization was not there maybe 20, 25 years ago or 30, 50 years ago. Just like Swami Ranganathan used to say, that word bore, getting bored, that was not in Johnson's dictionary, because nobody didn't have time to get bored. Now even children are bored. Toddlers, they're bored.
I agree with you very much, Mataji. I worked for many years in doctor's surgery. And when you see the number of people coming, either really sick or imagine to be sick, whatever it is, they are coming to see the doctor all the time with endless problems, self-made or otherwise. You realize how lucky it is and how important it is to have the right attitude.
Yeah.
Because if you have the right attitude and you're positive, like you say, you have a higher aim in life to look forward to. It does solve a lot of problems because we don't indulge in self-pity.
No.
Yeah.
Physical problems will be there. Even that will be able to face and handle in a better way with a positive outlook. Physical illness will be there. That's a nature of the body. That does not you just because you are on the trying to lead a spiritual life does not mean that you won't get any sickness. That's part of the body. That will happen. But you can have a positive outlook on that. I had a good life all this time. Now this particular illness has come. It doesn't matter. I'll deal with whatever is to be done. We'll do. That's it. I can have a positive attitude and don't have to go into depression. But the whole society is supporting this going down the path of depression. Everywhere, there's all over the world the same thing.
We should count our blessings.
Yes.
All right, so maybe we'll move on to the next slide now. Courage, strength, attitude. Our life is a mixture of necessity and freedom, said a great thinker. There are many things to satisfy our necessities. The choice is ours. Success depends on that. Our life is a mixture of necessity and freedom, chance and choice. By exercising our choices wisely, we can steadily control all the elements and movements of matter and even the growth of plants and eliminate the determinism of nature. we can become successful in every venture. Take the bonsai plant. The Japanese do not allow the plant to grow. They control its growth. They have a picture in their mind of how the plant should grow, and they shape it accordingly, pruning the roots and branches to control its growth. In the same way, we can control and guide the growth of our thoughts. We have the courage and strength, but we must have the attitude.
Yeah. That's the important thing. We must have the attitude. We must be ready to face the challenges. I don't want to face any problems. I don't want to face any challenges. Then you will remain mentally, emotionally weak. Only through challenges, facing challenges, you become strong. Why do we take vaccination? We are injecting germs into our body to make the body stronger. But when the real powerful germs of any infection comes, the body will be able to fight that. So facing the problems only become stronger. The same way, as we do vaccination, we should face the problem little, and then become stronger. Trying to run away from problem, we become weaker and weaker. There are so many things to satisfy our necessities. If you just go to the shop, we can see variety of things. To choose from that, a simple thing. You want to buy bread or milk. So many choice. Which one to choose? My goodness. You spend half an hour looking for all those things just to buy a loaf of bread or a carton of milk. Too much of choice. But then we should know to choose properly, wisely. Even this, spending half an hour to choose buy a loaf of bread, it's up to our choice. We don't have to spend so much time. Once you decide, every time just buy that same thing. Instead of spending half an hour, wasting the time. How much time we spend in the shopping center? Whether to buy or just to look around. And then complain, I don't have time. I'm so busy, I don't have time. But that is for, if you ask, do you doing any spiritual practices? Do you sit for meditation or your japa or study? I don't have time. I don't have time. You have time to spend 1 hour every week or every alternate day in the shopping center. You have got time for that unnecessarily. But you don't have time for all these things. Its choice is ours. We have to choose wisely. And we should have the right attitude. And we should recognize our shortfalls. I got this addiction to shopping. Or this is my weakness. Acknowledge it and face it. If somebody says, I get annoyed. But don't have to do a self-analysis. Just because the companies advertise, we don't have to follow them blindly. We have got our intelligence, willpower. Why don't you use all those things? Strength. Have the right attitude. By exercising our choices wisely, we can steadily control the elements and movements of matter. We can become successful in every venture. It's up to us. Choice is completely us. We are simply blaming other people because we don't want to take the responsibility. We we refuse to take responsibility because we are cowards. Be brave, have courage. I have got this weakness, I will overcome that, or I must overcome it. Accept the weakness, try to overcome it, instead of complaining and blaming other people.
Yes, Benita.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Pranams, Mataji. The responsibility, Mataji, that you just spoke about, that would include taking responsibility for the circumstances that we have been born into as well. So it sort of ties in with that self-pity, isn't it? So whatever happens to us, everything happens for a reason. So we have to take that responsibility that even our birth, though we didn't have a choice in it, it has happened because of some pre-existing reason. And therefore we can't blame anyone. It's ourselves. It's that
Yes.
responsibility as well, isn't it?
Yes,
Thank you,
because
Mother.
we have, it is because of a, some of the past actions, sometime we had done, past
Yeah.
Tendencies. That's why you are born in a particular circumstances, a particular situation, particular family. You are not happy with that, well, you can change it the next time by the deeds in this life. We are the makers of our own destiny. If
Yes.
there is no, we cannot say God sitting somewhere is deciding where we'll be born. No, we are deciding. So we can make the decision, no, next time I will have a better one. So let me work towards that.
Yes.
And for that, you have to be brave enough to accept the responsibility. It was my fault. That's why I am born in this way. The next time I'll do better. This time I'll do better. So next my life will be better. So yes, that's true. Even having our present, if it's a miserable life born, well, that's because of our some action that we have done. You have to take responsibility for that also. That needs courage. Yes, it was my fault. It is very hard for us to accept that it was my fault. No, it's everybody else's fault. I am faultless. Everybody else is at fault. That's our usual attitude. No, we have to change that.
Well, this is why, boy, I wish when I was very young, we were taught about the theory of reincarnation. That should be a universal teaching because it explains so much. I think a lot of people who don't believe in that or don't consider it could be a possibility, then it gets very confusing because they wonder how unfair life is. Look, that other person's born with all the facilities,
Yeah.
all the benefits, and look at me. What did I do wrong? Well, of course, reincarnation lets you know, well, you have done something wrong because you've been placed in the circumstances that, well, to put it bluntly, that you deserve, and you're going to have to work your way from here. And I really wish one day that theory of reincarnation becomes a.
But then you have to remember, even if people are exposed to the idea of incarnation, they may not accept it. Like, remember one doctor in Adelaide, she kept on arguing something which is done in this life early as a child or in the previous life, which I don't know. Why should I suffer now? However much we try to say, you put your hand in the fire, it will burn, whether you like it or not. Whether as a child you didn't know it will harm, but the fire does not discriminate whether the child doesn't know, but the fire will burn the hand. No, she wouldn't accept that. So even if you are taught, even if you are in the idea was there, incarnation, not that everybody will accept it.
Well, the Christians don't believe in reincarnation because they just say this life is a one-shot deal. And this is it. You don't get any other chances. Reincarnation does not exist. So I agree with Robert, but you've got to convince, what, 25% of the world that what they've been taught to believe is just perhaps not so.
But I was told that in the early Christians, they had the idea of
Yeah,
reincarnation.
they did have it. And the problem was that people would decided, oh, we'll have a lot of fun this life, and we'll be very, very devout and pious next time. And so, you know, people.
So the church decided not to have the idea of the theory of reincarnation thrown out.
But you would think logically, like the very idea of having a heaven or a hell implies that there's something afterwards and that they're going to experience it as an entity individual to other entities. So even though they might not articulate the word reincarnation, or I'm reborn, effectively, that's what's happening through their view. So it's counterintuitive that they don't believe in it. Or it's yeah. Well,
small period, okay, 100 years, full 100 years is human beings are going to live, okay? For 100 years of my bad action or whatever may be, I'm going to have an eternal hell. Just for 100 into eternal, what do you mean? Here comes the karma theory. That is why we don't have in Hinduism an eternal heaven. No eternal heaven, no eternal hell. Finish, work it out, come back. Enjoy, finish, your account is over. Bank balance is free, come back, you have to
Yes,
come
in
back,
the-
work. That's the difference.
Krishna says in the
About
Gita,
Christian concept of heaven and hell.
Kshine Punyam
Kshene punya marte lokam vishanti. Come back after you have exhausted your merits. Come back, start. But you got an opportunity. You got a chance. Eternal damnation is not there. That is the concept which frightens. Just for a mortal time, 100 years, even if a person lives 120 very rarely, eternal and 120 won't go. That is where it was. That's the only good thing about it. And those who have really believed in this karma, they have quietly accepted it and gone through the suffering. The society at large, I don't know about other societies, I am very little informed, but I know about Indian society or Hindu societies. There are many, many generations of people who have gone through, this is our collective karma. Look at 1,000 years of slavery of Indians. We say it's a collective karma of us. Finish it, go through. Because another law of karma is you don't get anything more or less. You just get what you deserve. This assertion of the concept of karma theory, it gives us strength also. Opportunity to change, to work, and to accept, and to get on with life with better understanding and better actions for a better future.
Whether we call this reincarnation or other ways, but recently one of the books which I was listening to, I was listening to, and that was told that it is the subconscious mind which is continuous. And in that one, it said healing intelligence of the subconscious mind, which creates this body, is perfecting all the organs of the body and in the subconscious mind. And that continues all the time. Even nowadays, even in the self-realization, they go to the minor brain in the solar plexus in the abdomen. And they say it is just the parasympathetic system which is causing your hair grows, your skin shades and changes color. This is all continuously doing, and that is the part and parcel of the subconscious mind. And that is creating more impressions what you want to achieve and how it affects your life.
Yeah, whatever be the impressions created by us through our actions, thoughts, words, nothing is lost. They all stay there. And they go to the subconscious level up from the conscious mind. And then when the soul leaves the body, that's a subtle body, all the impressions, mind, and then with the subtle body, the soul leaves and goes to another body. So the impressions are all there. That's what we say, the karma, prarabdha karma, sanchita karma, all those things.
All right, any more questions, comments on this one? Or we can move to the next slide.
Just that idea of the bonsai being pruned and shaped in the way that we want. It kind of just reminds me of a spiritual practice or a sadhana that helps to shape the individual into a person through the discipline. And I mean, thinking in my own life, how important having that spiritual practice is, that disciplined approach to life, having a set time for meditation or prayers or rituals, whatever it might be. How almost without it, it feels as though the mind can become stale, like water sitting still. It can almost become moldy, and the wrong things are germinating, so to speak, through stagnation and things like that. And how subsequently, when that happens, when we're sitting, whatever depression or anger or frustration might appear, but an active mind through discipline, whether that's mental, through a practice, helps, and almost a decision to commit, how important commitments are, that sometimes a commitment, let's say in a spiritual practice, how that can be the very reason to go into meditation. The very notion of not having to do something is important. And how basically even people who aren't spiritually minded, how having a commitment, let's say in work, that's a commitment to turn up every day to do the best that you can, or a marriage, which might not be spiritual in nature, might be purely secular, how that's a commitment to a person, and that might be the very reason of people. So can you obviously having living, being a nun, lots of commitments, how can you share the importance of this to us?
See, leading a regulated life is very, very important. And that saves a lot of energy also. You have a schedule. If get up this time, do this. Then you don't even have to what is the next thing you have to do. Naturally, it goes to the next one. And you tend to make less mistakes because everything is properly done, right time. And then slowly you get into the what we call the state of flow. It goes on naturally. But in the beginning, it is to get into that habit. It takes time. So in our especially in the monastic life, they say in the early days we have to have strict discipline, the routine. Get up this time. The bell goes. Everybody has to get up. Go to the wash your face, change your clothes, go to the prayer hall for prayer and meditation. And you have to sit there till then. Then this chanting, everything goes. And nobody can say, oh, I don't want to chant. No, you have to chant. Whether you like it or not, in the early days, it's forced on you. And then it becomes habit. In the early beginning, it is not very palpable, very palatable, but you have to take it. As they say, talking about, in the Gita, Shri Krishna speaks about the three type of happiness. Sattvic happiness, Rajasic happiness, Tamasic happiness. The highest is happiness. In the beginning, it may seem bitter. You don't like to do it, but you have to do it. Then at the end, it becomes sweet like nectar. Rajasic happiness, everything is so nice and interesting, very enchanting, but turns out to be bitter in the end. And Tamasic happiness, beginning and everything is sour, not sweet. So in the beginning, these good practices, to make it a habit, you have to go, it's a struggle. But you have to go through that struggle, and then you come out on the other side successful. Then it becomes easy.
It seems like in the previous slide, we talked about the forces of nature controlling us and us being at the whims of them. In this case, the external forces are helping to kind of shape us in a positive way where
It makes how the forces, how you use it. See, like we plant a seed in the ground. Before that, you have to prepare the ground. And then once the seed is planted, you make sure then it sprouts. Weeds also come up. Weeds, maybe they come up stronger than the actual seed that we planted. Then we have to remove it. It is external force you're coming to help the growth of this particular one. And then you dig around. It seems we are harming the plant. No, it's to encourage the growth. So with what attitude you use this external force, that decides whether it's helpful or harmful.
All right, so we might move on to the next slide. Looking outside for what's within. We are always active, constantly working. Working for what? We want to be better. If we're in the same situation day after day, we feel bored. We always want the best things, so we keep ourselves engaged in action. What is the motive power that is guiding us into this constant activity? It is the fullness already there in our hearts, says Vedanta. Fullness, the presence of God as we call it, is in our hearts. Extreme success, extreme beauty, extreme bliss, extreme peace are within us. It is all peace within us, and it is prompting us to look within. But we run around looking outside for that which is within us, resulting in peacelessness. We don't understand what real peace is and how to handle it, hold it, and enjoy it. We enjoy peace only in ignorance, in deep sleep. We get a taste of it in deep sleep. Therefore, we desire to enjoy it in our waking state too. But we are looking in the wrong place, in the outside world, which is ever changing.
If we are in the same situation day after day, we feel bored. The other day, somebody told me our General Secretary Maharaji told her when she was young in the mutt that this life here is the same day after day. You'll get bored. You may get bored. It's up to you, whether how you feel it. There's no change in our life. Every day the same thing. Every day do the same thing. Have the same food, wear the same clothes, the same duties. Yes, everything is same. You get bored. It's up to us. If you are interested in it, you won't get bored. Otherwise, you get bored. But we want change. We want new things, excitement. That means you are not going to go and touch within. We want the external things. to excite our senses. But if you want to go within, you must be ready to shut out the external one. And only by going deep within, you get that peace, because peace is within. The presence of God. We are like the masked deer going around searching for the fragrance. Where is the fragrance coming from? Running around, searching for the fragrance. But it's coming from its navel that doesn't know. We are like that. The peace is, bliss is within us. We look around, run around, try to get the peace and happiness from external world, which is changing all the time. Change means there's no happiness, there's no peace. Only when we turn within, we get the peace. If you say peace, they will say absence of war is peace. Absence of war is not peace. Absence of war is absence of war. Peace is from within. If you have got peace, then you will have peace outside. Otherwise, you will be seeing only the discontentment, struggle, problems everywhere. Because we see what we have within us, we see outside.
Yeah.
Gayatriprana, I just wanted to ask you, you talked about change. There could be change because of boredom, or there could be change because one wants to learn and improve. Are they still the same thing, or are
No.
they somewhat different?
They're completely different. Changing boredom is, there are two extremes. One, you want to improve, you want to go forward. For that, the change is needed. You want to change because of your bored, there is no improvement. It's from one thing to another. And that you come to the second part thing, after a short time, you get bored with that also. Then you want to go for the next one. We are never satisfied. Whereas changing for the improvement, you go from number 1 to 2, and then you say there is more chance for still improvement. So then you go forward, making changes. But there's a big difference, the attitude. It is the attitude that counts. They're not just the action. With what's the attitude for that particular action?
So, any more questions or comments on this one, or we will move on?
Vedantic, what do you call experiences there in this? She says,
Who?
Mataji is saying that we enjoy peace in ignorance in deep sleep. And we get the taste of it in deep sleep. Therefore, we desire to enjoy in our waking state. So in the deep sleep, we enjoy the peace of the Atman. It's true. That's the only way we can understand the peace of. So one of our Matajis, when I asked, she said, spiritual practice, meditation is a very conscious way of going into sushupti. This deep sleep is sushupti, what we call in the Sanskrit terminology, we call it as sushupti. And meditation, spiritual practice, you are all working for your purity of the mind, lessening all the garbage or decluttering of the mind, whatever you call. All this bring consciously the state of deep sleep. Deep sleep in a conscious effort. See, deep sleep is an unconscious effort. Nature is lulling us into that. But in conscious consciously doing something called deep meditation. That is called as samadhi, because in deep sleep, there are no external perception, no internal perception also. In dream, there is internal perception. External perception is not there because the eyes are closed, nothing is hearing, the senses are not working. But the mind, the sixth sense, which is mind, is active, and hence it brings out all the world of name and form. But whereas in deep meditation, or in deep sleep, even the internal perception also is not there. So in order to enjoy the peace, which we got it in the deep sleep, consciously, is called as spiritual practice, meditation, and all that. And ultimately, this is everyday samadhi. We are doing, nature is bringing us and is pulling it us out. We can't hold on to that experience, but spiritual practice will make us to enjoy our peace in the waking state. That's a beautiful observation she has made it in this. Just I wanted to draw your attention to that. That's all.
Yeah, yes, Benita, go ahead.
Thanks, Robert. Yeah, Mataji, I just wanted to say to Vin's point just now about commitment and the various commitments that like householders have in relation to family, work, friends who may not be on the same path. And, we are building a routine of meditation and changing our way of thinking. And sometimes people naturally fall away, so that's easier. But it's not so easy in a work environment or other duty related situations. So I was just going to talk about like a tool that has been helpful is the power of pretense, that we go along with something and we are actually pretending because we're not really happy being there, but we do it because of a duty to a friend or a work related duty. But all along we know what our goal is. So it's sort of similar to Sri Ram in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, where Sri Ramakrishna talks about the maid who is doing her job, but constantly thinking of her own child at home. So the mind is always there. And that is a useful tool for those of us who are, in a sense, out there and having to juggle all of this.
Yes, you have to, in the society, you have to do the work, whatever is to be done. But there is a difference. There's a ordinary people may get attached to that action, but you have to do the things you can do without any attachment. Just go and whatever is to be done, do it, and that's it. Don't have to have a second thought about that. As you quoted Ramakrishna's example of the maid servant, that's it, finished. The maid servant looks after everybody, does all the work, looks after the master's children, but she knows her children are far away in her village home. There's no attachment. The same way we can do all the duties that you have to do. You people have to go for the office parties. You have to pretend that you are enjoying all this. Don't have to. Do all these things. Come away. Once you come away, that's it. Don't have to think a second time relive that whole experience. Then it won't become too strong. The impression won't be too strong. But if you relive, and from the time you went in and till the time you reach home, you relive the whole thing, the impression will be becoming stronger.
All right, so we move on to the next slide. Sorry, I just said a bit. So this is one of Sri Ramakrishna's favorite parables. Sri Ramakrishna used to tell an interesting story. One night, a farmer was sitting in the veranda of his little hut, relaxing after the day's work. The entire household had gone to sleep. The day's work had been satisfactory. A gentle breeze was blowing, and he felt good. Leaning against a pillar, he thought, why not have a smoke? He jumped up, went into the kitchen, and found to his disappointment that the fire had died out.
Louder, Robert.
Sorry?
Louder.
Okay. So I came back and sat down. Do you think when a desire comes into the mind, it will give us peace if unfulfilled? No. The man who was very peaceful a moment ago became restless. He felt that he would not be able to sleep if he did not get a smoke. He decided to go into the neighbor's house to get fire. Just turn that up a bit. Let's just go to the next slide. He went and knocked on the door. The neighbor had just gone to bed half an hour ago and was furious at being disturbed. He jumped up in a rage and opened the door wide. Who is there to wake me at this unearthly hour? Sorry, said the other. I could not rest without a smoke. The fire in my kitchen has died out, so could you please give me a little fire from your kitchen? The neighbor opened his eyes wide, looked at the visitor from head to foot, and said, oh man, what are you saying? What have you got in your hand? He was holding a lantern. He had forgotten that. Sri Ramakrishna says that we are like that farmer. The fullness, the purity is within us, but we look for it in external things. However, everything external is on the level of unfulfillment. We have a haunting sense of the precariousness of our situation and run after more and more achievements, hoping to get peace. Failing to get it, we come away disappointed, frustrated, stressed out. The image of God, the fullness, is in us. It is always a lingering presence. Of course, if the farmer wasn't addicted to nicotine, he would have had a bit more peace anyway. But anyway, such were the times back then.
With that fullness, peace is within us. We are looking for it outside. And we think that if we get more and more things, comforts, power, name, fame, more friends, more holidays, we'll be happier, we'll get more peace, we'll more happiness. But after that, the end of the day, we come back tired, depleted. In the Imitation of Christ, there's a saying, they're going out in the evening, all pleasure, happiness, but come back at night, all depleted. And then why did they do that? It's too late. You wasted your time and energy and come back sad. Who knows? Young people go out to enjoy on Friday evening, on Saturday evening. And then who knows whether you'll come back alive? No guarantee. Going on high speed, driving at high speed, or getting into a fight with somebody. No, but still, we see that day after day, but still they think, oh, I'll be happy. I'll get happiness if I go out. No, if I do this. Happiness is within, and we don't want to look at within. But the Upanishad says, it's not our fault. The Lord created the senses looking outside. Only a few wise souls look within and find the presence divine within. So if you want to have the peace, really, we must be one of those select few who are ready to look within. Otherwise, we will be going round and round in this cycle, never finding peace and happiness. Because we are not contented with anything. And we won't have peace until we have contentment.
Mataji, I was just thinking that can you see something in the outside world and then sort of take that in and create happiness inside? Because it's happened more than once, but one occasion I was going for a long bike ride down around Wagga and that up this country road. There was no traffic. It was just me on the bike. I pull over by the side of the road and look up this hill, and it's just covered in, I think sunflowers or something. It's just yellow field, blue sky, buzzing of flies. I'm just standing there going, I don't want to move from here. It just seemed peaceful and perfect. So I'm looking out at what's there. But you just, so I don't, I'll stay here. I don't want to go anywhere. So
There are things outside which can inspire us. See, even what do we do when we sit in the shrine? We are looking outside a picture. But then from there, you bring it in, within, yes. Internalize, yes. To bring in inspiration, to bring concentration, all that.
it's like you become a part of the landscape almost, and that you're not. So it's like I'm part of the landscape. I'm not entirely separate from it. It feels like I'm in it, and part of me sort of spreads out, and it's like there's a sense of well, not entirely oneness, but
Oneness with the whole
you sort of
thing.
it has that feeling of, which is why I didn't want to move from that spot.
And that gives you peace.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Wordsworth's Daffodil poem, he got inspiration. He had an hint. He got the hint of transcendental experience because he had that subtlety of the mind, and the nature was there in its sublime, and then it could affect, and the result was wonderful, that he had the glimpses of it. So that's how the poem came. And when the poem was explained by Professor
Hasty.
he said, pure mind sometimes attain to this. And I know one Paramahamsa in Dakshineshwar who has really attained. That's how Swamiji came to know. So that means to say, at some time, the nature has its influence, provided our mind is ready. Yeah, that's important. Subjective.
Yeah, many people would have gone through that that road, seen that, but it didn't make any effect. Yeah.
Mataji, it seems in those situations when external factors seem to appear peace as peace or an experience of peace, I wonder whether it's a little bit of the kind of the mind's trick. Like really, I feel like there's so many beautiful places here in New South Wales, and the environment can invoke that. But if we're carrying, I guess, our seeds of our busy life, our busy problems, our relationship issues, it doesn't matter what's outside. It might not be good enough to allow it to incur a change. We're still carrying it. And it's only when, for whatever reason, the environment might induce a sense of those previous negative thoughts ceasing, that the peace can arise.
Yes.
So therefore, the consistent factor isn't the external. The consistent factor is the internal.
Yes.
And it draws on what you said earlier.
The
Yeah.
external is just a trigger. In every case, the external stimuli is just a trigger to for having good or positive or negative feelings in emotions inside us. Emotions are, everything is within us, within our mind. Happiness, anger, hatred, it's all within. The external thing, they're just a stimulus. They're just to trigger it.
All right, so if there's no more questions, we'll move to announcements. So this week we have the yoga class on Thursday morning as usual. Next Friday night, we will again have this Vedanta Book Club session with our Friday night group. Discussion again led by Gayatriprana. Next Sunday, we celebrate Sri Krishna's birthday. We'll have talks by Sudish Naya and Gayatriprana, and you're invited to bring some sweets or savories to offer. There'll be grouped chanting of chapter 7 of the Gita and reading of the English meaning. And now we'll conclude with a guided meditation. Just give us a few minutes to set up for that.